Hey guys, in this video I'll be showing you, or at least explaining, you can hear some crashes in the background. I don't know exactly what happened back there, but that's an example of how not to race cleanly. But I'm not going to focus on that now. I'm going to show you how you are supposed to race cleanly. First couple laps, this was my first race of the day, so I was a little bit slow, but through this turn right here, I was pretty bad. As you can see, he gained a good maybe 2/10 through there, and he did it a few laps in a row, even when he was ahead of me for the first few laps. So this is why I lost the first position. But I'm just going to show you how to give up the position when you know that your battle is lost. And I just want to say one thing before I continue the video. There's two ways to race. You can race for I rating, or you can race for safety rating. Now in this race I was going for safety rating because I'm currently C class trying to get into A. I'm at 3.5. I got my safety rating up a whole point in the past 2 or 3 days, and I'm trying to get into A class. So this race even though I started from pole, I was going for safety rating, and I was willing to sacrifice a couple of I rating in order to get that safety rating up. And if you're trying to stay out of rookie class, which I know a lot of you guys watching this video will be trying to get out of rookie class, you have to just forget about I rating, because chances are if you're just starting out in the game, you're going to have a low I rating anyway, and even if you finish mid-pack, you probably still gain some I rating. With me, I have a 5500 I rating, and if I finish lower than second, I'm almost guaranteed to lose I rating, and sometimes if I finish second, I still will lose I rating. So even I was willing to sacrifice some I rating for my safety rating this race. And you have to race two different ways when you're doing that. For safety rating, you have to be conscious of your surroundings. You have to make sure not to have any car contact with your people you're battling. You have to make sure not to go off track and everything like that. Sometimes it's easy. You have a 10-second gap over second place and you're just going to cruise home. But sometimes, like in this race, you're going to have a tough battle and you're going to be driving as hard as you can, but you still want to get 0, Y, and C. And that's what I was trying to do this race. See, I got a little bit sideways there and had a terrible exit speed. So Bruno comes up on the inside of me here. I'm just going to put it in slow motion again. Bruno comes up to the inside. I give him plenty of room because I know there's nothing I could do to avoid that. I stay out wide. Let me switch to my car. I stay out wide here longer than I normally would because I know that he's there. We're both hard on the brakes, and at this point I was going to try to do the under-over on him, but I didn't have enough room, so I had to stay wide and just give him the place, and then hopefully I could catch him in the coming laps. And you see I got a little bit sideways there because I was trying to do the under-over, and there was nowhere for me to go. I'll show you what that looked like from my cockpit. Obviously you can't see the mirrors in the replay, at least I don't think you can. If you do, I don't know how, but you can't see him coming, but he'll be coming up the inside like you just saw. See, I give him plenty of room, and then right there, I was trying to do the under-over, right here. You can see I do a second. See, I had to turn there because he was in the way of what I wanted to do. So that's how I got passed. I hate being passed, but it happens. You can't avoid everything. Sometimes there's a guy that's just quicker than you, and in this case he was faster than me for the first few laps. So now I didn't pass him again in the whole race. I'll let you know that right now. But I'm gonna show you how to challenge him and pressure him and maybe make him make a mistake, and then maybe you can get the place back like that without getting any incidents. But I'm gonna fast forward for a while because this is I was behind him for a while, a good amount. This is the lap where I caught back up to him again. He made a mistake going through the kink right here. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't this lap. But I caught up to him maybe the next lap. And then after that, it was good hard racing the whole time. And he only had one incident the whole race too. I was trying to pressure him into a mistake. Maybe he would go off track, but he was on his game as well. He was a B class, and I was a C class. So it goes to show that you don't have to be an A class to have a perfect race with each other. Alright, this is where I catch up to him. So I'm going to go back to the chase point of view. He got a little bit wide through there, and I'm sure he had a bad mid-corner speed, and mine was fine, so you can see him catching him by a pretty good rate right now. And here I have a little bit of a run on him again, partly due to the draft, but also because I got a good run off the last turn. He goes to the inside. I see that he's going to block there, so I go to the outside, and just so I have a higher speed. And I was going to try and just pressure him, but he was going slower than I was expecting, so I had to tap the brakes there. And now I'm going to lose time again going into turn 3, or turn 4, because I had to hit the brakes on the exit of the turn. But I caught right back up to him again. I had a good exit to that turn 4, and then coming up to turn 5, I was right on his bumper again. Now right here, I went to the inside line just because it was the first lap I was close to him, and I don't know if he was going to brake early there. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. They'll be behind somebody for the first time, they've never seen them before, and then they'll end up braking when they're not expecting them to, when you're not expecting them to, and then, let me just pause this. They'll brake when you're not expecting them to, and then you'll run into the back of them. We both get a 4X. He'll mostly get spun off into the track. He'll swear at you, probably protest you, and it's never nice. So whenever I'm running behind somebody that I don't know, I always take the inside line. That way, if he does brake early, we'll be side by side, and I won't hit him, and then maybe I'll even have a chance of overtaking him. But in this case, he braked as late as I was expecting him to, and he wasn't fazed by my little move there. Now he also got sideways again in the kink and went into the dirt a little bit, so I have another run on him here, and this time I have a chance to actually get alongside him, and he moved to the left, which is where I wanted to be if I was going to pass him, but I didn't force the issue. I was just like, alright, you're going to go to the left, and I'll go to the right, we'll make it too wide. Sorry. And you get sideways there. I tried going there to the left, but he blocked that line, so no worries. Now going too wide into the corkscrew is never, well, I was going to say it's never going to work, but it does work because I did it a few times this race. So we're side by side. We're pretty much exactly even right now. And he has the inside line, which is the better line because, of course, it does go right first, but then the corkscrew actually goes left and then right, and then the first one's left. If you don't have that line, you're not going to get through there. So he has the line that I wanted, but I'm still here. Maybe he'll make a mistake because I'm here. So I braked early. You can see I braked earlier than him. My brakes are on right now, and I normally brake way up there at the 3-board if I'm by myself. So if you're running side by side, you have to brake earlier and anticipate it's going to take longer to slow down because you're offline, or you maybe anticipate a little bit of contact if you're both under braking as hard as you possibly can be. So it's always best to brake early for a turn, and he does brake early too because he's offline, just not as early as I did. So I'm going to go back to my point of view. See, he brakes right about here at this white line when we both normally would brake at the 3. So we both know we have to brake early. Corkscrew's coming up, one of the most feared turns in all of racing, going 2x2 through there, so it's best to just slow down a little bit more than usual. And at this point, I stayed out as wide as I could because I was going to hopefully try and get a run through the corkscrew, carry more speed through there, and then pass him between a little tiny straight between the corkscrew and the left-hander down there. That was my plan. It didn't work, but you always have to have a game plan going into a corner. I did get a little bit of a run on him, but I didn't get on the gas soon enough, so it wasn't enough to get side by side. Let's see right there. If I wasn't trying to get safety rating and I wasn't worried about a little bit of contact, then I would have touched him there. It would have been a 0 times, and it would have been fine, even if I was trying to get 0 incidents, but I don't want to risk it. So, you see I had to hit the brakes again. I don't know if there's a better point of view. Maybe this is okay. But he was a lot slower than I was through there, and I was trying to get a better run through there so I could get side by side into turn 1 and maybe get him there. But he braked early, so I had to tap the brakes again. And if I didn't tap the brakes, it wouldn't have been a big deal. He wouldn't have spun or anything. I just didn't want to risk it being a 4 times contact. But like I said, if I was going for iRating and a safety rating, I definitely would have bumped him there. Just for 0 times, just for the intimidation factor. Not to try to hit him off the track or something like that. But I didn't want to risk it here, so I had to hit the brakes again. See, I'm off the brakes, and I see that he's going slower than I am. So I have to hit the brakes again once there. Just so I don't tap him. And because I hit the brakes, I didn't get the exit that I wanted. But of course he was going just as slowly as I was. He got about the same exit, so we're not going to go side by side into turn 1 or anything. But he might block the inside line. Which he does. So, since he blocked the inside line, I know that he's going to brake early, and he's going to have a slow speed through there. So I'm going to come on the outside and try to carry more speed way off of the apex from turn 2 there. And then be off the apex and then come wide and try and get a really good run through turn 3 so I could be side by side here going into turn 4 and maybe get the inside line going into turn 4. That was my game plan for this turn. I did everything I wanted to so far, but it wasn't quite enough. He got a better exit than I was anticipating. I saw him run wide there, and I was sort of expecting him to go off track, and I was hoping it would open up a gap for me, but he was able to keep his foot on the throttle and not lose any time. And by this point of the race is lap 8, and I'm warmed up, so at this point I am faster than him. In the beginning of the race he was faster than I was, but right now I am faster than him. And if I was going for iRating, like I said, I would have probably gotten around him, I would have been more aggressive, but it's two different kinds of racing when you're going for safety rating or iRating. That's the main thing you have to remember. And this is basically a repeat of what happened last lap or 2 laps ago. He got sideways through the kink. We're going to go 2 wide up here. Same thing as last time. He blocked the same line because he knows that it worked for him last time. So I'm just going to do the same thing he did last time, and hopefully it'll work this time. As you can see, I brake earlier than him again. He actually brakes pretty late that time, but he could afford to brake later because he was traveling at 3 or 4 miles an hour slower than I was because he got a bad run through the kink. This time worked a little bit better than last lap, And I tried to do the same thing. I tried to get a good run through the corkscrew, and see, I had a lift right there again. Otherwise it would have worked. I had a lift right there because I was gaining on him too much, and so it negated the my run that I had on him. So I'm on the throttle. I had to lift because I don't want to touch him. But if I didn't lift, I could have made it too wide through here, and maybe got around him on the inside line. But I didn't want to risk touching him at all, so I just backed off. Now this is the second to last lap, and this is where, if I'm going for iRacing, I normally get really aggressive if I'm not in first place. I'll start doing things that the driver in front isn't expecting me to do, nothing dangerous. Just, I would like move left and then move back right quickly, to maybe catch him off guard, make him look in his mirrors, not at the track, something like that. But here, I'm just hoping he'll make a mistake on his own because I'm going for safety rating. But same game plan as before, off the apex, and then try and get around him. But unfortunately I didn't go wide enough that time, and I didn't want to risk any car contact, so I had to brake to avoid it. And here I have a run on him, and since it is the second to last lap, I was going to try and scare him by moving to the right here, and he was moving back onto the line. But apparently he does the same thing I do, because he moved over when I was going to move over just to block it. I didn't have a run on him, I wasn't ever going to get sideways or next to him, but he blocked the way that I was going anyway, so that didn't really intimidate him. But that's just another way that you can try to make people make mistakes, go offline, make them look in their mirrors. But as you can see, I saw him already going over there, so I knew it was going to work, so immediately I got back onto the line so I would get a better run through this turn. But unfortunately it turned in too early and I had to get off the throttle again, so he actually pulled out a gap on me there. I was actually lucky not to have gotten more sideways here and lost more time to him, because I put like half a wheel over the grass, and you saw the car get a little bit sideways under braking. At this point, I figured that the race was pretty much over. He has a half a second, 6/10 of a second gap because I messed up that last turn, or 2 turns ago. So I was still pushing, hoping he would make a mistake, but at this point I accepted the fact that I was going to finish second. And that's a big thing when you're racing for safety rating. You have to accept the fact that maybe you won't win. You have to sacrifice iRating in order to get that safety rating up. And if you're a rookie, you won't even see your iRating anyway, so maybe it won't even be an issue for you. But up in the higher classes, if you're trying to get out of C class like I am or something, then you have to sacrifice sometimes. And it's all the way that you race, really. You can still be fast and have a 0 INC race. It's just, you have to tell yourself that you're racing for a safety rating, not iRating, and think about that every single turn. And here, instead of staying wide, I was thinking about maybe trying to squeeze into this gap right here, but there was also a car there, and I don't know if he was going too slowly. I didn't want to hit him, and I didn't want to go into the grass there and maybe risk locking together, and we'll both go off track, and then third place will win. And after this nice battle that we had, it would be a shame for not one of us to win, so I just went back to the right and tried the same thing I did the last 2 times. And here I also moved to the right a little bit, but he did the same thing, so it didn't intimidate him at all. And in fact, it actually hurt me because I wasn't all the way to the left, so I didn't get as good a run through there as I wanted. And he didn't get a good run there through either, so if I didn't go to the right, maybe I could have been side by side through this turn. But here again, I just went to the inside line, trying to make him look in his mirrors instead of the apex, so he would miss the apex, but it didn't work. But it's just stuff like that where you can try to make other people make mistakes instead of trying to force yourself through. being this close to somebody behind that kink, or going through that kink, is incredibly difficult not to go off track doing that. And the only way that you can really avoid going off track there when you're behind somebody else and missing your turn-in point and lift-off point, which is incredibly easy to do, it's just through experience. There's no way I can really tell you how to do that. I'm actually surprised that I was able to run so close to in this race. But this is the last turn, last lap of the race. And instead of staying out wide like I normally do, I move it over a little bit, so maybe he would also look in his mirrors and maybe keep his foot on the brake too long, and we can make it side by side to the finish line. And it worked a little bit. But see right here, I jinked in, so now he's thinking, oh god, what is he gonna hit me or something? And obviously I'm not going to, but that is going through his mind right now. Talking too much, I can't do it anymore. But right here, I'm not gonna try and get off my brakes and hit him or anything. I'm just moving my line so he thinks that I'm gonna hit him, and it actually worked this time. You can see he stays out wider, and I'm pretty close to him right here. And right here, I was gonna tap him if it came down to it, but it wasn't necessary. I don't know if there's a better angle, but it was pretty close right here. Yeah, you can see how close it was right there. And then I just stayed on it. I didn't care if I was gonna hit him. Just it would be a 0 times. But you could see how close the finish was because of that. Then the finish was only a 1/10 of a second. So I didn't win, but I sort of was expecting not to win. I could have won that race because I was faster than him if I wanted to force myself through, but I don't want to risk the safety rating. So you just have to get yourself into the mindset that maybe you're not going to win every race, but you gain safety rating and you can do different kinds of races. Like me, I'm trying to get to A class so I can do the F1 races, and I just tell myself that so I don't have to race the Miatas anymore. Not that I don't like the Miatas, I love the Miatas, but I want to try something new, and I can't do that until I'm in A class, so I use that for motivation. And you just have to find something to keep your mind set on the goal. It's so easy to get distracted in a battle and say, oh, I want to beat this guy, like for bragging rights, or you want iRating, or whatever it is. But you just have to stay calm and remember what the goal is. And you can try to force the guy into a mistake, but there's no point in trying to be too aggressive and trying to make it work for you and trying to get past him. You just have to try and make him make mistakes and let him race his own race and just try and pressure him like I did. And this time it didn't work, but you could see how close the finish was. And if he did make a mistake, I would have been able to get through. It's all about getting yourself into a position where you can capitalize on the other person's mistake. So you can still win races, you can still gain iRating. Even though I finished second in this race, I still got 11 iRating, even though my iRating is 5,500. So I gained iRating and I got a 0 INC race, so it is possible. You just have to put your mind to it. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but it's true. So hopefully I could help you guys out. Hopefully you guys will all be getting your A licenses soon. Thanks for watching.